in their spare time. That's incredible achievement. And that New Testament is how to live in that world. That's what it's about. How to live faithfully in the pagan, in the ends of the earth, which includes all of us. Okay. Feature of Paul's cross-culturally encounter with Jesus, vision of reality. He meets Jesus, not in the way the rest of the disciples do, but in a special way. He responds to that call, and he launches, he lets go and break. All of the stuff that he believed in, he lets go of, including the law. Doesn't mean he disbelieves it, but he doesn't put his confidence and hope of righteousness in the law. He lets go and embraces. He learns and he lives in that world. And those three things I'm going to end with. Okay. Now, got it. Okay. We're going to quit at 12, so don't worry. Launching, let go back. Jen and I, in our sailboat journey of launching and following Paul around the Mediterranean, sort of learned a couple of lessons about the nature of letting go, actually learning and living, that we hadn't actually quite experienced before. And I think it's similar to that point where Paul, Barnabas, and John Mark board a ship and sail off into the sunset. They have no idea what they're getting into. Neither do you. You're doing the same thing in a little bit different way. So this part I'm going to spend the most time on, launching and letting go. Sailing acts, that's Jan and I on our sailboat. That's off the coast of Ashkelon. It's in the background where Philistines ate dogs. It's a Philistine city. Just down from Joppa, where Peter gets the vision. Okay. Sailing acts. From May 2004 and August 2005, Jan and I followed Paul through the Mediterranean, visiting all 37 harbors, east of 54 cities, nine islands that Paul visited, mentioned in the book of Acts. You guys that are going to be at the retreat will see this again, so you can just go to sleep right now if you want, because you're going to see it again. A few slides here. We did 4,000 miles by sea and 2,500 miles by land. We want to learn more about Paul. Now, if you think about that, isn't that great? But we didn't do anything like Paul. All this was relatively easy compared to what he did. We didn't write any scripture. We didn't spend any time in prison. We didn't start any churches, which he did too, by the way. I forgot to mention that in that lineup. He does all these things in those 12 years besides travel at really slow speeds. Okay, we want to learn more about Paul, Roman Empire, first century, but we learn far more than we imagined about following Jesus in an unstable world and unpredictable of the 20th century. I like to say, the world is like the sea. The world is like the sea. It's unstable, it's unpredictable, it has beasts that you can't recognize until they pop out. It is out of human control. If you don't believe this, just flip on the news. Look at the world that's out of control. We can attempt to do it, we can be somewhat successful, but in reality, we can't control the world. And that's the world that we live in. It's no longer, we know it's not stable. We know it's not stable because we get tweets that tell us all the time, or news feeds and stuff. Oh, crap. Okay, the world's like the sea. Okay, a quick little story here. I'll do the launch. We bought the boat there. I moved aboard, started working on it for about 6 weeks. Janet came over, joined me, learned new skills, like washing clothes in a bucket. We called it Sailing Acts. Put a new name on it. Registered in Alexandria, Virginia. Thought that had a nice ring to it. You have to pick a town, so I thought that's better than Harrisonburg, Virginia. So Alexandria, which is a seaport in the Mediterranean. We got that picture of Paul that you saw from the Greek owner of the vessel that we bought it from. He's Greek Orthodox. Gave us Paul. Paul is still there until this very day on the boat. So we sailed with Paul. And here we are on the morning of June 14, 2004. The time is 5 till 10. We are sitting here studying charts and maps, because we're going to leave that afternoon for this journey that will take us to we know what. We're going to launch the boat for the very first time. It hasn't all that time we were working on it is tied to the dock. We didn't have the papers until about 1 o'clock, roughly. The last paper came, the insurance paper, which you cannot leave until you have everything. They handed it to us, and we cast off. Here, we had no clue what that day is going to be. Here we are in, I like to think of it, we're in seminary. We're in orientation. That's you in orientation. You're smiling, a coffee cup, okay. But the time will come when you aren't here anymore, you will launch, and then it'll hit you. This is not said. I learned things here, but whoa, what do I do now? Launching, letting go and embracing. Here's Caesarea looking out like the disciples did, or Paul at one time, toward the open sea. He said, oh no, I'm now moving on. Least prison I knew what was. I don't know if I'm going to die or not when I get to Rome. Okay, that's June 17th, sorry, that's June 14th. Here we are. We made it. We're now like 500 meters offshore, maybe a kilometer. No, about 500. And we're 10 minutes. No, about 10 minutes. In here, put. Motor works fine. Okay. Now, if you notice up here, there's a little bit of a storm cloud here. Mediterranean in June is never rains. Never, no thunderstorms, no nothing. Unless you are going to launch the boat for the first time and you're scared already. Then it happens. The weather report was squalls. Squall. What's a squall? I've never seen one here before. And so we learned some things, and one is pay attention to the weather report. Janet reminds me of that all the time because I still. Anyway, so now I'm semi-smiling there because the storm hasn't hit yet. Look at this picture. I'm not smiling. This is now half an hour later, or almost half an hour. You can hardly see the shoreline behind us way back here where we left. The clouds are now really dark. The waves are getting kicked up. You can see the wind here. This is still before it really hits. About 4 minutes after this, thunder, lightning, high wind, and massive rainfall all at the same time. Don't smile. I'm scared. I'm miserable. I'm wondering, look, okay, we're 40 minutes into this. We got a year and a half to go. This is not a good thing. We got 2 miles, and there's like 3,998 more to go. Are we going to make it? Maybe I was stupid the whole time. What was I thinking? That's your experience as well at some point. There is going to be a storm for you, and the difference is there's nobody to turn to that can help you out of that mess. It's you and whoever's with you and God. And you don't know if you might not even hardly be able to speak to anybody else. We had to rely on Greeks here, but at that moment there weren't even Greeks there. There was a time when we're all by ourselves. Now, that feeling of trepidation and anticipation, our hearts were thumping forth of anticipation and fear at the same time. That's a normal feeling for people letting go and embracing. It'll recur over. It still happens when Janet and I take off on a long sail, especially in a place we've never been before. There's that anxiety and ecstasy at the same time. That's where Jesus wants us to live more often. Of trust and obey, even though you know what you're getting into. Almost all of Jesus' calls from Abraham to you is follow, and I will show you where you're going to go. He doesn't give you an itinerary and a schedule. He gives you an invitation to a journey that reveals where you're going at what speed, at what time, as you're on it, not before. If you think you have an itinerary, just rip it up and throw it away, because it probably won't work like that. It just won't work like that. You're going to, okay. The world is like the sea, I said this before, following Jesus away from the familiar, stable, and predictable into the unfamiliar and changing future toward the promises of the kingdom is a risky public demonstration of the validity of the promise. You do it anyway, even though the storms, every time we go to the Middle East, parents call up. You're not going to the Middle East, are you? Yeah, we plan on. But did you see what just happened if their kids are on the thing? Your parents didn't do that. Yeah, we're seeing it. How can you go into that dangerous part of the world? And I usually make some snide remark, not really. Well, how can you, like, live in Harrisonburg? It's probably more likely that you will get harmed in Harrisonburg than on this trip. No, I don't say that. I usually say, well, okay, it is a dangerous world in a way, but you can travel smart. You travel smart and with faith and confidence. Fear is not the motivation here. So by going there, there is risk, and I'm not minimizing that. By going to your assignment, you're taking risk, but you're publicly demonstrating that you are not afraid. That's the amazing thing. The world is full of fear.